Depending on the situation, a city or town may choose to issue either long-term or short-term debt. Long-term debt issuances have maturities greater than 1 year. Once the debt is issued, the municipality makes principal and interest payments to the bondholder based on a fixed schedule. The most common type of long-term debt issued by Massachusetts cities and towns is general obligation debt. Municipalities pledge their full faith and credit to pay off the obligations, which typically mature in anywhere from 5 to 30 years. These bonds are typically competitively marketed nationwide. The Massachusetts Clean Water Trust also provides low-interest loans for up to 30 years to fund local drinking and wastewater projects. Zero-interest loans are also available to fund utility projects in rural areas from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. 10 years is the maximum term of these loans. The USDA also assists rural communities through its Community Facilities Loan Program. Low-interest loans are offered to rural communities to purchase, construct, and improve essential community facilities and equipment, such as healthcare facilities or public works vehicles. The maximum term of these loans is 40 years. The Commonwealth's Qualified Bond Program allows municipalities to issue general obligation bonds payable from its local aid distributions. Bonds issued through the program benefit from the strength of the state's credit rating since the payment source is state aid. This, in turn, results in lower interest rates on debt issuances than what might otherwise be possible if the debt were paid locally. The Division of Local Services works with the State Treasurer's Office, who administers the program and ensures local aid distributions are intercepted to fund the repayment of interest and principal on the outstanding bonds. Each city, town, or regional school district must receive authorization to issue state qualified bonds by the Municipal Finance Oversight Board, which is chaired by the state auditor. When reviewing applications, the Municipal Finance Oversight Board ensures that the bonds are being issued for an allowable purpose, such as a capital project or final judgment payment. The board will also analyze whether the municipality's local aid amounts will be enough to pay down the amount borrowed. Bond proceeds must be spent within certain timeframes, shown on this slide, to comply with federal arbitrage rules. Exceptions to these spending timeframes can be made for small issuers who borrow less than $5 million of tax-exempt debt in a calendar year, or $15 million in the case of school construction. Local officials should consult with their financial advisor and bond counsel to ensure compliance. Principal payments on long-term debt are made in annual amounts. The first debt service payment takes place no later than the end of the fiscal year that begins after the date of issue. There are two primary repayment structures used to pay off debt obligations. The first is level debt service structure, in which the combined annual amount of principal and interest payments remains relatively constant over the life of the bond. The second payment structure is called level principal, in which only the amount of principal payments remains relatively constant over the life of the bonds. This results in debt service payments that are initially higher but decline over time. Local officials can project different payment structure scenarios using the debt service calculator available on DLS's website. Both level debt service and level principal structures can be compared. The financial management team should consult their financial advisor to make the ultimate decision on which structure to use. Refunding a bond is like refinancing a mortgage to take advantage of lower interest rates. New debt is issued in the form of refunding bonds, and the proceeds are used to retire the outstanding debt. The City Council or Select Board may authorize refunding bonds or notes for the purpose of paying or refunding all or part of a previous bond or note issuance. In most cases, a refunding can only take place if it results in debt service savings. There are exceptions made when a refunding is needed to correct the tax-exempt status of the outstanding debt. The term of the refund borrowing must be within the original term authorized for the bonds or notes to be refunded.